Oh my goodness. I still can't believe I got to meet him. Hello, Dolly Friends. Welcome to Missy's Imaginings. I hope you're having a great day or evening or weekday or weekend, whatever it might be. Just a fun thing to talk about today. And then we also have a lovely box opening to do. But first, to encapsulate, we went to the Pacific Northwest Doll Artist Expo. A lot of BJD things, but also a guest that was at the expo, and I was so excited because when I bought my table, I'm I'm just the average gal here, and so it's like, okay, I can get the table and I don't want to drive twice, so I'm going to get the room, which means I'm not going to pay for like the events, like the workshops or the sessions, just because I need to make sure I can cover the cost of my table at least, maybe the room. So having done a couple big hotel events before and not selling anything, I was a little trepidatious. So I thought, okay, I'll be careful and I won't go overboard. So we got to the venue and set up everything and got everything ready. And it was lovely. The table, I was very happy with how the table looked. Had everything finished that I wanted to have. And then, lo and behold, the one and only icon of fashion dolls comes in, Mr. Robert Tonner. I was so excited. I told my daughter earlier when we were going up, I said, well, I know I couldn't get any of the event tickets, but maybe he'll wander through the sales room, and we'll get to see him. And so not only was he in the sales room, but he actually had a table. And so we got to actually talk to him, and I was starstruck, to say the least. So I just thought I'd just share a very quick Tonner journey per me into the world of Tonner dolls. I kind of came across them by accident. I was buying Barbie doll patterns at Joann Fabrics. Rest in peace. Joann Fabrics. I'm very sad about that whole thing still. But I was getting patterns back in the day when they would go on sale for $1 a piece. Anybody remember those days? Fantastic. So I was getting a whole bunch of Barbie doll patterns, and I was looking through the book and I was just writing down all the numbers. I went to the drawers. I just pulled out all the ones that I had written down, because at the time my niece, I didn't have any children yet. My niece was loving Barbie dolls and asked if I could sew for them, and I said sure. So I bought all these patterns and I got them home, and in looking through them, I wanted to see what the pattern pieces look like, and so I saw one and I thought, well, that's kind of pretty. I wonder if it would be hard to make, and I can't remember which one it was. I believe it would have been probably this one or this one. Oh, maybe the ball gown. It might have been this one. And I was just going to make some basic clothes and a pretty dress. And when I pulled the pattern pieces out, I instantly realized these will not fit a Barbie doll. These are big. I've never seen much except way back in my distant memory, but in the recent years, I'd never seen a fashion doll bigger than a Barbie. And so I thought, well, these won't fit. I just wasted $5. So I took the patterns and I just put them in a drawer. So then a couple years went by, maybe 2 or 3, and I was cleaning out a drawer and I found these patterns and I thought, And so I was looking at them, and of course the ones that say McCall's actually have Tyler Wentworth on the front of the pattern. The others, by simplicity, were just, 15.5-inch fashion doll. So I thought, that's interesting. And there was a little logo here on the side. And I thought, well, I wonder if these dolls still exist somewhere, because the patterns aren't that old, right? So I made the mistake of looking on eBay, and down the rabbit hole I fell. I was like, oh, they are still available. There are brand new dolls being made. This is fantastic, because I love the size. And so, of course, then the hunt was on to find Tyler Wentworth or any of her friends. And so in eBay searches, of course, I found, a whole world. And so I bought some dolls and I sewed for them. I then started thinking, it'd be fun to design some things, give my hand at it and try a few things. So I made some of my own clothes for the dolls. And then I made dresses for nieces and gifted them dolls for Christmas in ball gowns that I did. I'll see if I can find a couple of the photos here of just dresses that I did. Some were using this pattern and then just adjusting little things to it to make for the nieces. So I did those. And then I was like, well, where can I find more patterns? So then the hunt began for more patterns. I discovered more patterns. So, of course, I was on a mad frenzy to find all of them. So I have everything that I could find, and I was even able to procure some actual Tyler Wentworth patterns that were not Simplicity or McCall's, but there are actual Tonner patterns. I was then able to find a book. It was about a designer in, I believe, Germany, who did fashion doll clothing. So I have this book. So my sewing journey just kind of exploded with all of the Tonner fashions and reading about the fashions, and of course the dolls I have, and then I needed the doll storage, and so it's just been this wild journey. So then a friend contacted me because she had seen my sewing, and she asked about commissions, and at the time I was doing some commission work, and she said, have you ever looked at an Evangeline doll? And I had not. And so she wanted clothing sewn for Evangeline, and so I was looking at some of those, and that was a whole new world, and she just stole my heart, and she wears clothing so beautifully. So of course then I had to get Evangeline and her cousin Parnilla, and oh my goodness. So yes, so then it graduated from those dolls to the resin versions of those dolls. And so needless to say, it was a very slippery slope for me. And I have enjoyed sewing, I've enjoyed reading. And for Christmas this past year, my daughter found and was able to get this book, the Tyler Wentworth 5th Anniversary Album, which I love. It even has a chapter by Tim Gunn, so that is fun. And so yeah, so my glee when seeing Mr. Robert Tonner sitting at a table in our sales room and just visiting with anybody who wanted to visit. Just such a lovely person. And so that was so fun. So if you ever see this video in your wide world of experience and knowledge, just know that here is a fan who is so very thankful to have met you. And I was debating on whether or not I would buy a doll, and a lot of it depended on the sales. And my daughter was with me, and she said, Mom, when will you ever again in your life be able to buy a doll from Robert Tonner himself? And I thought, that is so true. And the reason I debated is because of our box opening. But I did buy a doll. So here she is, and she is absolutely lovely. And I did a Google search. It took a little while to find her, but find her I did. And evidently she was a convention doll, Lane Reese, if I'm saying the name right, in azure blue. So that's the gown. And if we, there we go, we bring it forward. So she is absolutely beautiful, and her face looks a little bit like Jennifer Lawrence to me, but she is beautiful. I love her curls, and I love the dress. And then he was kind enough to even sign her for me. So she is absolutely beautiful, and this is my doll from the event. So she's a very, very precious keepsake that will be displayed on my shelf. And yeah, I just love her. But one of the reasons I was debating and kind of mulling over whether or not I should get her is in the mail. I have this box that arrived today, and it is the Phyn Aero Kadira. So I had just purchased her. The box is a little scary. I'll have to get rid of this box pretty quick. And she was in the mail while I was at the expo debating on buying another doll. And not only did I buy the doll, but there was a seller who had the set of 3 wigs and a set of 2 pair of shoes for her. And I thought, I have been working so much overtime, I'm going to buy that doll. And so I did. But then we went to the expo and I ended up getting another doll, which, well, I suppose you can never have too many dolls. So we're going to open this box and take a look inside. So I will go ahead and switch up the camera so we can get a better view. And here is the lovely box. It's purple. It says Kadira. It is so lightweight. Oh my goodness. I'm so used to those resin ball jointed dolls of mine that come and are huge. So here we go. And oh my goodness. She's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's lovely. So here we go. We'll go ahead and move this out of the way. Oh my goodness. She seems so tiny. Oh, she's beautiful. I hope you can see her face. Let's see if we can adjust a light, perhaps. There we go. That's a little bit better. Oh, what a beautiful face. Let's bring her up here. Isn't she pretty? Oh my goodness. I am nowhere ready to do detailing on this scale yet. So she is absolutely beautiful. And I really like her shape. It's just very interesting to me. She's so dainty. Very dainty. She is a ball jointed resin doll. Oh my goodness, she's absolutely beautiful. What a pretty doll. Let's see here. Look at her knee joints there. Do they snap in and out? Let's see. I'm not sure how this one goes in. There we have her fixed. So yeah, it looked like her knees have a couple different parts to them. So there's a joint built on the leg right here, but then there's also a sliding piece. And one of these sliding pieces on the one that I was fighting with had turned around backwards. So now they're correct, so that if you bend her knee all the way, it shows just a covered kneecap rather than that slit in the front of the kneecap piece. So that was easy enough to fix. So fortunately, I've played with a lot of ball jointed dolls, so that wasn't a problem. So we got that all taken care of. So let's take a look at her joints. Of course, first we have the neck to move her head. On the back of her head, she has a little thing of Velcro. And then on the top of her head, there's a little thing of Velcro to help hold a wig. Let's take a look inside her head. Looks like this. So I'm not going to remove all the ribbon, but her eyes are in with some eye putty. And this is the head cap. So that goes in there. Then right here it says TM and 2017 AY for RT. So we have trademark 2017 Andrew Yang for Robert Tonner. So that's what's on the back of her head. She has blushing inside her ears, very faint pink cheeks, beautiful eyes, beautiful burgundy, purpley lips. I think she's lovely. Then we come down to her torso. Has just a chest plate that swivels, the midsection of her torso, and then she has a three-part torso for the chest, abdomen, and then the hip area. Then on the legs, we have the actual hip joint, and then we also have a mobility joint. Then we looked at the knees because I had to fix that part, which was fine. And then from the calf down to her foot is all one piece and just beautifully sculpted. So there we go. So that's the neck down to the feet. Then on her arms, there's the shoulder joint. There's also a mobility joint here right below the shoulder. Would be probably above the bicep. Then her elbows are a triple jointed elbow with a little peanut inside. And then her wrist and hand are all one piece, so there's just one joint at the wrist. And she is absolutely beautiful. Her resin is very sturdy. She feels nice and sturdy considering her slender size. So very lightweight when I'm used to those 1/3 scale giants. But she is so delicate and pretty. And I loved her because I don't have any dolls this size. She's typically a 1/6 scale. And let's go ahead and grab a ruler. So her height is right at 13.5 inches tall. And so I'm not sure what the centimeters would be on that because I don't have that ruler handy. So 13.5 inches tall. So taller than a Barbie, but a little bit smaller than a typical quarter scale that's usually about like 14 to 16 inches tall, so a little bit smaller. And I liked her because of the exaggerated features. Her neck is very, very long, a very long neck, which will make it fun for like high neck ruffly clothing. And then of course the shoulders go down into an actual Dorito shape triangle to her waist, and then back out for her hips. So this part of her torso, very exaggerated. And then also her legs. So she has very full calf muscles, which of course would be affected because you're on high heels. And then the very slender, high pointed tiptoe heels on her feet. So yeah, very pretty. So this is Kadira. I have a box with the 3 wigs coming for her, as well as 2 pair of shoes, so that she will have her own shoes to wear, because it would be a while before I could probably sculpt something for her feet, especially given that they're high heels. But I will be doing, probably in the next video, for any of you who have her, and I think her clothing was very limited because they didn't run her a long time, and so I will be doing a basic set for her from which you can draft your own patterns. So that will be fun. So I will go ahead and get that done. That will probably be the next video. And yeah, we'll start working on some fun things for her. Again, a big thank you to Mr. Tonner. We all adore all of your work and you as a person. So thank you so much for coming to our event and for being available. That was just such a great part of our weekend. I'm going to insert this little bit because the second package for Kadira arrived safely. So we're going to take a look at this package as well and find out how the wigs and the shoes look. So we'll open this box. Says thank you with a smiley. Here we have our two packages. So we'll see what's in here first. We'll do the smaller one. And here we have Kadira shoe and boot set. Aha! So here we have them. So here are the boots. So I love the boots. So they're a little bit above an ankle. So those are lovely. And then there's a pair of sandals. There we go. So here are the shoes. Let's see if I can get this one out as well. There we go. And her feet are so tiny. So I thought I'm going to get her some of her actual shoes until I experiment with making shoes for her. So that is the 2 shoe pack. So we'll set these to the side. Then we have the editorial wig set. And it looks like this is still original taping, and it looks like this one has been retaped. So we'll open down here, editorial wig set. So we'll open the shipper. Set that aside. Then we have Phyn Aero editorial wig set. Let's see if we can lift this box. And here are the wigs for our Kadira. So we'll open these up here. It looks like this one is a golden, kind of a gold color, almost a rose gold color curly wig. Very curly. So there's the first one. Then we have this beautiful pink color that's also curly. There we go. Not quite as rounded on the curls. So it has bangs. So here is the pink one, and then the green, which I love. I love that she has a green wig. And this one is long. So long green hair. So there we go. So let's take a look at how these look on the actual doll. First is the gold wig, which pretty giant on her. And though I love this color and I love the curls, I am going to do some work on just making this more manageable. It's kind of a hot mess right now. But I think it's kind of like the style is supposed to be, like over the top, giant curls, which I do like that idea. And this color, in the camera it looks a lot more yellow. Let's see if we can turn off the overhead light. And that's more the actual color. It has more of a soft rosy gold to it. But this one is a little bit wild. I'll turn this light back on now. And so, yeah, so this one's pretty wild. But I do love the color, and I think I'm going to get some curl management going on. And then probably it will help lengthen this a little bit and just make it a little bit more manageable. But I do love the color. So here's the first one in gold. Here is the red pink, deep pink one. I do like this one better. There is a lot of product in this wig, so I am probably going to wash a lot of that out just so that these curls can look more natural. I do like the length on this one. I love the color. I love this deep, deep pink color. It's almost a purpley pink. Again, we can take a look with natural light, see how that changes. So this again is more natural, but I don't have a lot of light coming in, but this is a truer color. So this is a little bit better view of the color. Turn this back on. But I do like this wig better. So I just like the length better, and I think the curls are going to look a little bit better once we get some of that product out. I will say, for anyone considering this doll, what I did find is that her head cap magnet is not very strong. And so when you're trying to get the wigs on, the head cap wants to come off all the time. So I may reinvent the choice of magnets here and put in stronger magnets, because this does want to pop out a lot. If you're trying to pull the wig over, this wants to come out a lot because the magnet is not very strong. So just an honest review on if you like the doll and you think, oh, I think I might want to add her to my collection, be aware of that. This is a very light attachment as far as the magnet goes. The Velcro placement on the top of the head and the back of the head is fine for the doll, but it does get a little wonky if they're not placed absolutely correctly in the wig. I may just remove them from the wig because to me they're not really necessary as long as the head will actually fit into the wig cap. So now we'll go ahead and get ready and see what she looks like with the green. And here is the green wig. I kind of adjusted the camera a little bit and am holding her a little different because if I don't, the wig just falls backwards. But yes, this is the long wig. I love this one. And yeah, it's very beautiful. A long flowing green wig. So I'm very happy with all of them, and I think they look wonderful on her. A couple of them just need a little work. This one needs some combing out. You can tell it really hasn't been used, so it's just been packaged for a long time. So we'll go ahead and get that sorted, and then once she's not laying backwards, the wig will fall a little bit more natural and won't tend to pull her head back just because she'll be standing up. So that will adjust a little bit. But yes, I love the green one as well. So there are the wigs that I ordered for her that actually are made for her and are part of her selected looks. So now we'll take a look at the shoes. Here we have the gold sandals. So she has very tiny, tiny high heel feet. So the gold is a good choice for just a very basic dress sandal that can go with lots and lots of different fashions. So I think it's a good basic sandal, and being in gold, it doesn't really have to match the clothing items. So I think it's a good choice for the sandals. So they do slip on, and then they have an elastic band on the back, so there's no buckles to worry about, especially on something this tiny. So those are the gold shoes. Here is the boot. My camera's having a hard time focusing because they're black, and I did have to turn off all the other lighting because it just made such a glare that we couldn't see any of the detailing, such as like the stitching on the side. And so just a word of caution, they are very, very tiny. If you love playing with your dollies, you love dressing them, you're gonna love this, because these boots do not have a back seam zipper on the heel. There's no zipper here, there's no slit. So these are literally lace-up boots. If you love doing that, you love spending the time doing that, I think these are fantastic. They are actual lace-up boots. Thankfully, because of the shape of her foot and the high heel pose, her foot did slide in very easily. There was no difficulty in sliding the foot in. Sometimes if a doll doesn't have this high of a foot, it's hard to get their toe all the way in and then their heel to land properly. But because her foot is so arched, it slid in with no problem. If you find things this tiny difficult to work with your fingers, you're not going to want these boots. You literally have to unlace the boot to a certain degree to get her foot to have room to slide her foot in, and then you have to lace it back up and tie it. So if that's something that you have difficulty doing, you would not want these boots, like I say, because there's no other option to get them on and off. But if you do like that, if you don't mind lacing them up, you don't mind tying them, they are a fantastic fashionable black boot to go with lots and lots of fashions. And then depending on the outfit, you're just going to have a little bit of black pump poking out, like if you have a gown or something, it would still be very, very workable with those types of fashions. So that is the boot. Because it is more tedious and time consuming to get them on and off, I only did one, because I also wanted to show the way her foot slides in there, so it's easier to show that. So those are the shoes that she came with, well, that I bought to go with her, but I mean, as far as being made for her, those are the shoes that I have, and yeah, I'm very happy with how they look. So that is the Kadira wigs and shoes that go with her. So all in all, I am so happy with her. And we'll bring her back down. And yeah, the other little bit of news I will tag on to the end of this video is that I have already worked on wrapping the doll and taping her. So I have all my pieces ready to start making her basic pattern set. So I've done that work. But here again, it's just very tedious work to wrap the doll and then delicately cut it off of the doll so that I have these pieces to make the basic pattern set. I have lots of other videos on doing this, so I can link one of those below to see this process, but just letting you know that I do have the pieces, so her basic pattern set will be in production soon. So until next time, guys, I will see you all later, and we will go ahead and be on our next project. Bye!